بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد صلوات. پروگرام جشن میلاد مولا الموحدین امیر المؤمنین علیه السلام آغاز میکنیم. از تمام برادران و خواهران عزیز، مخصوصا از خواهرای عزیز خواهش میکنیم که لطفاً خاموشی مجلس را در جریان تلاوت قرآن کریم مداحی و سخنرانی حفظ کنیم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن رب من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون في يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا. ذلك اليوم الحق. فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يهض على طعام المسكين. فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع ماله وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مرصدة في عمد ممدد. صدق الله العظيم.
صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا كل شيء خلقناه بقدر وما أمرنا إلا واحدة كلمح بالبصر ولقد أهلكنا أشياعكم فهل من مدكر. وكل شيء فعلوه في الزبر وكل صغير وكبير مستطر. إن المتقين في جنات ونهر في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر.
'Alhamdulillah. 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 '
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان إن المتقين في جنات ونهر في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان إن المتقين في جنات ونهر في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وخلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العلي العظيم صلى الله عليه وسلم.
خواهرای عزیز میفهمیم شب جشن است، شما میخواین صحبت کنین. انشاءالله بعد از پروگرام برتان وقت کافی میمانه که صحبت کنین. برادرها و خواهرای کوچک ما که زحمت کشیدن قرآن میخوانن، شعر میخوانن، لطفاً به خواندن قرآن و شعرهای از اینا گوش بدین تا اینا هم تشویق شوند. بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد صلوات.
من بچه شیعه هستم، خدا را می پرستم، خدای پاک و دانا، مهربانا توانا، پیامبرم هست، خدا را می پرستم، خدای پاک و دانا، مهربانا توانا، پیامبرم محمد که با قرآن آمانند دین را به ما رسانده، او ما را شیعه خوانده. دختر خوب زهرا بود، فاطمه کبرا بود، فدای دین شد جانش، لعنت به دشمنانش. در روز رد غدیر مانان نشد امیر، علی مومنین است، امام اولین است، امام دوم ما، بخشنده با دوتان خواه، نامیشان حسن بود، صبور دو سخن بود، صبور دو سخن بود. حسین که شاهدین است، امام زاهدی شهید شدن کربلا، کردت را میکنم، بر روز را میکنم، بر روز را میکنم. چهارم امام سجاد به دام هدا، با تو سیبا دهدنو تو سیبا. امام خیر شهرزاد یاد کرد، سن بیاد یاد کرد، سن بیدار بیاد کرد، فر بحر صلوات.
Very good job. Good job, Tina. Please recite aloud salawat for Sister Tina. Sister Zahra Mahdavi. Us?
صلوات. با پدر و با مادرم و عروسکام اومدم حرم، سلام مهربون عزیز دلم، قربونت برم منو تنها نذاری، از تو میخوام که همیشه منو حرم بیاری، چه حرم نازی داری، چه حیات خوشگلی آقا واسه بازی داری، از تو خاطره دارم یادگاری، من چشم گذاشتم که پیدا کنم سیر تماشات کنم، محکم میگیرم زری و یعنی میخوام دستامو گره میون دستات کنم، با دوستم آقا میگم کلاخ پر، تو برات پر بزنه بشه کبوتر، دوست داری من یا کبوترات بیشتر، کیو بیشتر مولا رضا، دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا، دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا، دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا. یادته اون دفعه تو دفتر مشقم بی چی سختی یودونه بابا نوشتم، حالا اومدم که جایزه بگیرم، این دفعهش تا امام رضا نوشتم، دوست داری من شاید اینجوری تو رو راضی کردم، با مهر حرم خونه سازی کردم، افتادم و دستم و گرفتی وقتی رو سنگ حرم سرسره بازی کردم. تو که بزرگترایی بانی آرزوی بچه هایی، تو بخوام منم بشم کربلایی مولا رضا. دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا، دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا، دوست دارم صدات کنم بابا رضا. سلوات.
Please recite a loud salawat for Sister Zahra.
بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد صلوات. تا صورت پیوند جهان بود علی بود، تا نقش زمین بود زمان بود علی بود، شایی که وسیع بود و علی بود ولی بود، سلطان سخا و کرم و جود علی بود. مسجود ملائک شد آدم ز علی شد، آدم چکی قبله و مسجود علی بود. ام آدم و ام شیست، ام ایوب و ام ادریس، ام صالح پیغمبر داود علی بود. این کفر نباشد سخن کفر نه این است، تا است علی باشد تا بود علی بود. من ز خود هیچ ندارم که به آن فخر کنم، هرچی دارم هم از نوکره خانه توست، جز در خانه توست هیچ کجا خیری نیست، هرچی خیر است حسین جان پدر خانه توست. و 11 پسران علی ابو طالب و مای انوار اریک جدا جدا صلوات. ناره حیدری بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد صلوات.
Please recite a loud salawat for Brother Hassan Jawanshir.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. علی همای رحمت، علی همای رحمت، تو چه آیتی خدا را که به ما سوا فکندی، همه سایه همای را. دل اگر خدا شناسی همه در رخ علی بین، به علی شناختم من، به خدا قسم خدا را، به خدا که در دو عالم اثر از فنا نماند، چو علی گرفته باشد سر چشمه بقا را. برو ای گدای مسکین در خانه علی زن، که نگین پادشاهی دهد از کرم گداران، که نگین پادشاهی دهد از کرم گداران. به جز از علی که گوید به پسر که قاتل من، به جز از علی که گوید به پسر که قاتل من، چو اسیر توست اکنون، به اسیر کن مدارا. چو به دوست عهد بندند ز میان پاک بازان، چو علی که می توانند که به سر برد وفا را، نه خدا توانمش خواند، نه بشر توانمش گفت. متحیرم چه نامم شه ملک لافتاران، ز نوای مرغ یا حق بشنو که در دل شب غم دل به دوست گفتن. چه خوش از شهریاران غم دل به دوست گفتن، چه خوش است شهریاران. مرا در تن بود تاجان، مرا در تن بود تاجان. علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. چه در پیدا چه در پنهان، چه در پیدا چه در پنهان. علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. به کامم تا زبان باشد، زبان تا در دهان باشد. به کامم تا زبان باشد، زبان تا در دهان باشد. به هر لفظ و به هر عنوان. علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. نخواهم جز علی دینی، نه جز آیین شاهینی. نخواهم جز علی دینی، نه جز آیین شاهینی. به هر دم از سر ایمان. علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. من آن مرغ شباویزم، به ذکر او سحر خیزم. من آن مرغ شباویزم، به ذکر او سحر خیزم. همه شب با هزار افغان، علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. ز مهر او سرشت من، جمال او بهشت من. ز مهر او سرشت من، جمال او بهشت من. همان در روضه رضوان، علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. برارم سر چو در محشر، به یاد ساقی کوثر. برارم سر چو در محشر، به یاد ساقی کوثر. علی سلطان انس و جان، علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم، علی گویم علی جویم. صلواتی ختم کنم.
برای سلامتی خودتان، خانواده‌تان، فرج در زور آقا امام زمان صلوات. اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرج. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. یا رحمان یا رحیم. باز با نام خداوند جهان، آن که عنایت بنموده به من سایس شوریده زبان و دهن و نطق و بیان. باز کنم قفل دهان را و کنم حمد و ثنای احد واحد فردی صمد بی عدد قادر بی مثل و نشان را، که کریم است و رحیم است و حکیم است. و پس از حمد خدا مرغ سخن باز زند در چمن نعت رسول دو سرا خواجه طه، همان سید بدها که بود مرسل خاتم. شرف بود مرسل خاتم که بود، شرف که بود سبب خلقت عالم. شرف عرش معظم که چو توحید مجسم به خدا است و خدا راست و اسرار خدا را همه محرم. و خدا در کتب خیش از او در همه ادیان زده هر دم و سردار رسول باشد و هادی کل فخر سبل. احمد محمود که قبل از همه بود و نبود، بود به ماموره هستی و پس از نعت گل سرسبد گلشن موجود و به یاری خداوند تعالی ودود. از دل و جان باز کنم دفتر مدح و صفت قاتل امر پسر عبد ودو ساز کنم مدح علی شیر خدا را. اللهم صل علی محمد. محمد و آل محمد. در روایات که وارد شدن در کتب معتبر اسلام از آغاز خودش بوده مواجه به خطر از طرف دشمن بیدین و لعین ملحد و کافر که از آن جمله یکی جنگ احد باشد و بدر است و بود غزوه خیبر و یکی دیگر از آنها سمان غزوه خندق که بود چوره به احزاب چو کفار قریشی و یهودان عرب لشکر بی عد و عدد جمع شدن از مرد و زن و پیر و جوان از نمودن که از بیخ و بنارند برون ریشه اسلام و زنن آتش کین بر تن ایمان و کنن محو مگر دین خدا را که رسول عربی احمد مختار از این حیله و مکر و فتن لشکر بید و شمار آن همه غدار ستمگار و دل آزار چو گردید خبردار بیاراست یکی خلوت و فرمود به یاران مسلمان که همه برآشفته و آسیمه بودن از اثر حمله کفار ستمگار که اکنون خطری از تن و جان شما را و مردین گرامی خدا را در همین حال یکی مرد بزرگ عجمی آن که بودی شیفته آل نبی حضرت سلمان که مسلمان شده بود از دل و جان گفت دیگر چاره نباشد بجز از کندن گودال به اطراف و به اکناف محل که از آن رد شدن آسان نشود دشمن بیدین و لعین را مگر آنان که سوارند و توانند پرند از سر گودال به این سوی همه شاد شدن دست به دست داده به همراه پیامبر همه آزاد شدن از غم و تشویش زن و مرد فراهم بنمودن بسی بیل و کلنگ و تبر و تیشه و زنبیل گرفتند و بکندن به 6 روز یکی خندقی از ناحیه کوی مزاد تا به ذباب و همه آماده پیکار شدن از دل و جان تا که کنند دفع بلا را صلی علی محمد و آل محمد عجل فرج. بعد چندی که اهالی مدینه همه آشفته و حیران شده بودند و سراسیمه ز یک سوی بسی قحطی و سوی دگر سردی و سرمای همان سال چنان سخت شد اوضاع مدینه ز عقب قوم قریظه پی آزار و تعدی ز جلو لشکر کفار شد آن موقع و آن روز که کفار لعین از ریگین در صدد جنگ هزاران نفر از قوم احابیش و قریشی و کنانه و تهامه همه جنگی و مسلح چی سواره چی پیاده برسیدن به نزدیک مدینه بنمودن چو محسون بنمودن احاطه همه جا را و نمودن چو محصور 2 هفته همه ملت اسلام یکی مرد شجاعی که توانایی جنگیدن و رزمیدن و از پای در افکندن صدها نفری داشت به همراه تنی چند جسارت بنمودند و پریدند از اون سوی به این سوی صدا زد که منم امر همان مرد شجاعی که نبود که نیست مرا نظیری و مثالی نباشد همچنان که نباشد بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات صلی علی محمد و آل محمد و عجل فرج. منم امر من مرد شجاعی که مرا نیست نظیری و مثالی نبود چنان شیردلی تا بکند جرأت رزمیدن و جنگیدن و شمشیر زدن با من یاران من امروز در این عرصه اگر هست بیایید و بیارید چنین بیایید و بیارید اگر هست چنان مرد در این جمع شما را. میر میدان دلاور اسد بیشه خیبر علی از جای به پا خواست که آید به صف رز، ولی احمد مختار نمود امر که بگذار یکی مرد دیگر وارد میدان شود و جنگ کند با پسر عبدود. اما همگی مات و مبهوت و حیران شده بودند و نبود هیچ کسی را اثر از مردی و غیرت که رود جانب میدان و بجنگد چو یکی شیر با آن مرد بد اخلاق بد عیبت. صلوات الله صلی علی محمد و آل محمد و عجل فرجهم. مثل که شعرم زیاد طولانی است، ما زیاد وقتم نداریم. من یک شعر کوتاه دیگه میخوانم و معذرت میخوایم، این یک کم وقت میبره دیگه، بندم نشه که شما هم چی نشین. یک صلوات دیگر. اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد. دل را نگار و دلبر و سلطان یقین تویی، جان را عزیز و سرور و جانان یقین تویی. در دید من بدون تو جای پدیده نیست، نور و حیات و هستی کیهان یقین تویی. معنای زندگی به وجود عزیز توست، شور و نشاط و مستی و درمان یقین تویی. من با تو نوز و بهور جنان کنم، چون خوشتر از جماعت هوران یقین تویی. عاشق توجهی نکند بر بهشت و حور، چون فوق آن به حوزه عرفان یقین تویی. معنا نمیدهد به خدا بی شما بهشت، فردوس و باغ و جنت و رضوان یقین تویی. بی خودم از خدا خدا بزند ترکیبات نیست، میزان برای سنجش ایمان یقین تویی. من با تو یا علی من با تو یا علی به وصال خدا رسم. بعد نبی مقرب یزدان یقین تویی. دریاب خستگان غمت راز حادثات، ای دستگیر شوگدا پیر و جوان یا علی مدد. ورد ما این است دائم الاوقات که به زهرا گل گلزار محمد صلوات.
بر محمد و اهل بیت محمد salawat. I have to say I'm so delighted by the number of requests I get from our brothers and sisters to recite Quran, poetry, shair, manqabat and everything. It makes us hopeful for the future of the center. Thank you very much, everyone who showed interest in reciting Quran, poetry, manqabat, especially the young kids. For those who arrived late, we had the young kids recite Quran, poetry. MashaAllah, everybody did great job. Please recite a loud salawat for all of them. Just a couple of announcements. Our next program is inshallah on January 25th, the martyrdom of Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam. It will be January 25th. And then our second annual volleyball tournament, it's going to be on February 7th for ladies and gentlemen. So the volleyball tournament will be on February 7th. برادر و خواهر عزیز، برنامه بعدی ما انشاءالله تاریخ 25 جنوری است، شهادت حضرت امام موسی کاظم، و همچنان تورنمنت والیبال، تورنمنت سالانه والیبال تاریخ 7 فبروری است. برای خواهران و برادران وقت در نظر گرفته شده. کسایی که میخواهند اشتراک کنن انشاءالله معلوماتش در گروپ واتساپ امشب به اشتراک گذاشته میشه، چون محدود است. کسایی که میخواهند ثبت نام کنن هر چیز زودتر ثبت نام کنن بهتر است. It's also requested to please recite the salawat for the sponsor of the marhumin of tonight. The sponsor of the marhumin of the sponsor of tonight, as well as for your own marhumin. Please recite aloud salawat. خواهرای عزیز، جشن میلاد مولا الموحدین امام المتقین علیه السلام و همچنان مصادف است با روز پدر، ولی خواهرای عزیز صحبت یکم از طرف خواهران زیاد است. یک بار دیگر عاجزانه خواهش میکنیم از تمام خواهران که لطفاً خاموشی را در جریان سخنرانی حفظ کنند. اگرچه روز پدر است ولی خواهرای عزیز صحبتشان زیادتر است امشب، ولی بازم خواهش میکنیم که لطفاً در جریان سخنرانی خاموشی را حفظ کنین. Without further ado, please help me welcome our dear respected scholar and brother Dr. Shakil Virjee to the member with a loud salawat. Just one more announcement. At the end of the program tonight, we have Kahoot. So for those who are interested, they can join. Kahoot will be after dinner, inshallah. And we have raffles too. برادر و خواهر عزیز، طبق معمول در ختم برنامه بعد از صرف نظر انشاءالله برنامه تفریحی و آموزشی کهوت در نظر گرفته شده. کسایی که میخوان اشتراک کنن انشاءالله بعد از نان تشریف داشته باشن و همچنان در ختم برنامه قرعه کشی جوایز طبق معمول انشاءالله برگزار میگردد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على. امشب شب ولادت امیر المؤمنین هست. صلوات شما ظاهری نیست. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. That's all Farsi you get tonight, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد، قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب مبين والقرآن المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن الناس من يشري نفسه ابتغاء مرضات الله والله رعوف بالعباد. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات. اللهم صل على. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, probably today, as being the Wilaadah, or we are commemorating, Wilaadah is on Monday, inshallah, but commemorating the Wilaadah of Amir al-Mu'mineen, our first Imam, the happiness, the smiles, the shiny, the nur on your faces should be at its highest peak, because he is indeed an Imam of us that we as the Shia community feel very, very proud of. And I would address the youngsters, for those who observe that throughout the world, when there is a celebration that is associated with Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam, and you see the grown-ups really getting excited about it, it's really important that all of you understand why we get so excited, why we're so happy, why we give these days, you know, a day like today, a day like the day of Ghadir, so much importance. And inshallah, we'll shed some light, you know, on this today. When I saw the announcement for tonight's lecture, sisters, please, you know, listen up. Let's try and get through this as quickly as possible with a good message. When I saw the announcement for tonight, you know, it was the commemoration of the Wilaadah of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Muhammad al-Jawad, Imam Ali al-Hadi, and Ali Asghar. I said, oh my God, I have to cover all of these people in one night. We're going to be here for about 2.5 hours. And that's, I don't think you guys want it, because I'm hungry and you guys are hungry too. So we'll try and get through this by focusing on the forefather of all of the Imams that I just mentioned, the father Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi alayhi wasalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Just as a side note, if you look at what we are commemorating today, the dates are a little bit different. They are about 2 or 3 days apart. But we have Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, and then towards the end we have Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, you know, who we are commemorating also today. If you see these Imams, they were in the transitional period of Islamic history. Imam Ali alayhi salam, from Nabuwwat to Imamat, that was, you know, he is that transition that goes from that to the Imamat period. Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam was at the time of the end of the Banu Umayyah and the beginning of the Banu Abbas. You know, so that's another transition that's happening there. And then if you look towards the end to Imam al-Jawad and Imam al-Hadi, that is the beginning of the history of the occultation of our 12th Imam. So, you know, looking at this as a whole picture, let us now turn to Mawla Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. The verse of the Quran that I cited is the verse from verse number 207 from Surah Al-Baqarah. And the verse goes as follows. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي نَفْسِهِ. That from amongst the people, there are those who are willing to sell themselves. Nafsi. To put themselves on sale, to put themselves out there. ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. To seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the ayah ends, وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is compassionate towards His servants. Most of the Mufassirin say that this verse of the Holy Quran is associated with Imam Ali alayhi salam. And the Shan al-Nuzul and the occasion of this. And why I am using this as the beginning of my lecture is to try and create this understanding of who Imam Ali alayhi salam was, how certain was his faith, how engaged he was with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how connected he was with the Holy Prophet and the mission of Islam. And we all need to understand it, because there was nobody amongst the companions of Rasulullah and anybody that was there during the history of Islam that even comes close to comparison with Imam Ali alayhi salam in this regard. This ayah came after the event of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who slept in the bed of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam at the time when Rasulullah migrated from Mecca to Medina. To put it into context, understand the history. I just want you to imagine going back again towards the early days of Islam. The Muslims had been isolated from the society of Mecca. They were isolated, they were being boycotted, they were sent to this area known as Shibi Abu Talib, outside of the boundaries of Mecca, where there was going to be no trade with them, there was going to be no social interaction with them, there was not going to be any kind of supply, any kind of aid. They were completely boycotted. That happened for about 3 years, and in the third year of this boycott, Rasulullah lost two of his most closest and dearest companions, or if you believe, the people that he was associated. One was Abu Talib alayhi salam, and the other one was his wife, Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salatu wasalam. This had already happened, and a coalition from Medina had come and spoken to Rasulullah, requesting him to go to Medina, because they said that in Medina, our Holy Prophet was going to be at peace, everything was going to be okay, and the people of Medina were really interested in having Rasulullah to go there and spread the word of Islam. So I don't want to get into a lot of detail, but I wanted to try and create the understanding about what was happening in Mecca at that time. By the time Abu Talib had passed away, the only protection that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had already gone. Any kind of influence amongst the Quraysh, amongst the people of Mecca, that was there because of the respect that Abu Talib had now disappeared, and the Meccans now were ready to go and attack the Holy Prophet. There was a conspiracy that was planned by the people of Mecca to go and actually murder the Holy Prophet, to attack his house. And that was the night that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam planned to leave Mecca and head towards Medina. And in order to do this, he had to create a decoy. Somehow, they had to fool the people so that they would try and gain some time while the people were thinking that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in Mecca. He would find a path to, leave Mecca and head out towards Medina. How was he going to do that? He was going to create a decoy by having somebody sleep in his bed. And the person that he approached for that was Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Now, look at the question and the conversation that narration tells us that happened between Imam Ali alayhi salam and Rasulullah. First thing Imam Ali asked Rasulullah, and I want the youngsters, please listen because you understand your Imam. Says, Ya Rasulullah, if I sleep in this bed, if I go to sleep in this bed, will Islam be saved and your life will be saved also? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes. Ali said, Ali is ready. I'm ready to put my life on the line. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Imam Ali alayhi salam that, okay, I want you to do this, I want you to fulfill this duty while I, make my way towards Medina. And I want you to tomorrow take care of all of my obligations to the people of Makkah, and I will also want you to bring some of the ladies, including Rasulullah's daughter, Bibi Fatima alayhi salam, to bring her to Medina with you. So Imam Ali alayhi salam slept in the bed. The enemy came. And the way that they had planned to do it, it was not going to be one assassin. It was going to be a number of assassins. Because they did not want the blame of murdering Rasulullah to fall on one group or one tribe or one family. So they came in numbers and they were planning to strike together, to stick the knife or the sword at the same time, so that the blame would not be to one, but it would be upon all, and it would really confuse the people of Makkah as to who to hold responsible for the assassination of Rasulullah. Under that circumstance, Imam Ali alayhi salam slept for the whole night. They came. The enemies came. And when they lifted off the blanket and they saw that Imam Ali alayhi salam was there, and he just stood up and they said, no, where is Rasulullah? Rasulullah was not there anymore. They did no harm to Imam Ali, but when Ali ibn Abi Talib was asked, were you nervous? How was your demeanor when you went to sleep that night? He said, it was the best sleep that I ever had of my entire life. Why, Ya Ali? Why was it the best sleep that you had that night? He says, first of all, I knew that this particular sleep was going to save the life of Rasulullah and was going to save Islam. But on top of that, when Rasulullah had already given me a duty to follow the next day, I knew for sure that there was no harm going to come to me. Because I would have to be alive the following day. And if Rasulullah said I am going to be alive, I had no fear. There was nothing going to harm me. There was nothing going to happen to me. That is the kind of faith and conviction that Imam Ali alayhi salam had, towards his belief system. And that is why we see, when we go through the history of Imam Ali alayhi salam, how he behaved, how he conducted himself. Many a times in the Muslim community, when the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, whenever it is mentioned, the thing that comes up and everybody talks about it was how brave he was in the battlefield. Talks about his shuja'ah, how good he was with his sword, and what he did in the battlefield to save Islam. This is 100% true, and is the fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salam. No question about it. But what kind of a warrior was he? And we need to understand that as well. Was he some wild beast that just Allah had given this strength and this power and this bravery that just went onto the battlefield and was there to just kill people and ward off the enemy without any reason, without any purpose, without any concrete thing in his mind? No. One of the enemies that was brought against Imam Ali in the battle of Khandaq, you all know about the battle of Khandaq. Amr bin Abdawud, the Manqabat mentioned his name just now. Amr bin Abdawud was a mercenary. If in today's world, if we talk about what a mercenary is a hired hand. Somebody who is a professional at what he does. His armor, Amr's armor, was like the Gucci and the Armani of today. Okay? He had that armor that specially custom made. That people who are of his caliber on the battlefield, those are the only guys that wear these kinds of armor. He was a hired hand. He had nothing to do with Islam and nothing to do with the kufr. He was given money. And he was given money, and this money he was brought to the battlefield to fight against the Muslims. Because by the time the battle of Khandaq happened, the battle of Badr had happened, and the battle of Uhud had already happened. So it was known already that there are some very capable soldiers in the Muslim army. And we needed somebody to really come up and scare the Muslims. So I won't go into the whole history of Khandaq, but you know that they dug this really big ditch around Medina between the Muslims and the enemy of the Muslims. And Amr bin Abdawud, he came to the edge of this trench, edge of this ditch, and he started to challenge the Muslims. Now, when you have a Gucci Armani armor, okay, and you are walking around with this brand name sword in your hands, and you have this reputation, all of Arabia knew about Amr bin Abdawud and how good he was on the battlefield. The narration say, my dear brothers and sisters, listen to this. He said that from the Muslim side, everybody was so quiet when Amr bin Abdawud was challenging them that a bird would be able to come and perch on the head of the people. Nobody wanted to even twitch. Nobody wanted to even move in case it was looked upon as somebody is volunteering to go. People were so scared that they didn't even want to breathe even, just in case it was interpreted that they were ready to go out and fight Amr bin Abdawud. But there was this one young man, Ana ya Rasulullah, Ana ya Rasulullah, and Rasulullah kept on telling him, sit down. It's not for you to go. I'm going to see who else is up there. Finally, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam agreed, and Imam Ali alayhi salam got on, and he went and faced Amr bin Abdawud. Narrations say that Amr bin Abdawud was not somebody who was not familiar with Imam Ali and Imam Ali alayhi salam's family. They knew each other from Mecca. Some say that the house that they lived in, where Abu Talib alayhi salam lived in, was in the neighborhood where Amr bin Abdawud was. So they knew each other. But then there are some narrations that say when Amr saw Imam Ali alayhi salam walking onto the battlefield, They said that he did get a little bit concerned because he had already heard about what Imam Ali alayhi salam had done in the Battle of Badr and how he stood up in the Battle of Uhud. So he got a little bit concerned. And he said to him, there was a narration that he says to him that, I know your father and so on and so forth. Anyway, the challenge occurs and the fight begins. Imam Ali alayhi salam was able, within a short amount of time to subdue Amr bin Abdud, and he was actually sitting on his chest ready to strike the final blow. And at that point, Amr spat on his face. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, jerked back, according to the narrations, and you can all imagine that, and he stood up. He had a chance right there to strike the final blow and finish it off. But he jerked back and he stood up and he started to walk around. Amr bin Abdud was able to regain his posture again, and he stood up again. When the Muslims were watching from the other side, they said, "Oh my God, Ya Ali, you had the chance right there, man. You had the chance to finish him. Why'd you let him stand up again?" Everybody was watching what was happening. And Amr bin Abdud stood up again, and the fight began again. At that time, Imam Ali alayhi salam struck Amr bin Abdud and killed him. When he came back, in this event, there are some fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salam that I want to, highlight. That when Imam Ali alayhi salam was walking onto the battlefield to face Amr bin Abdud, Rasulullah said that all of Iman is going to fight against all of Kufr. These are words of Rasulullah, my dear brothers and sisters. All of Iman is going to fight against all of Kufr. This was how Rasulullah described the movement of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam towards Amr bin Abdud. And then after he struck him, Rasulullah said, "Zarbatun aliyun yawm al-khandaq, afzalu min ibadat al-thaqalain." That strike, that zarbat that Ali alayhi salam struck, on the head of Amr bin Abdud was greater than all of the ibadat of the universe, all of the worshipping of the universe. Why? When Imam Ali alayhi salam came back and he was asked, "Ya Ali, you had that opportunity at that time to strike Amr bin Abdud and finish him off. And you stood up and you walked away. Why?" What did Imam Ali alayhi salam say to them? And I want the youngsters to pay attention to this. Because understand your Imam. Imam Ali alayhi salam said to the people that when Amr spat on my face, I became angry. My nafs became angry. My personality became angry. And at that time, I felt that if I would have struck the final blow on Amr bin Abdud, the purity, the ikhlas of my action would have been corrupted with my anger. My nafs would have been involved in that final strike. I said I had to stand up and walk around and calm myself down. Because I am a warrior of Islam. This is not, Imam Ali didn't say that, I'm saying that. Says he's the warrior of Islam, not a warrior of his nafs, not a warrior of his own selfish desires. When he strikes for the sake of Allah. When he forgives for the sake of Allah. When he lets go for the sake of Allah. Even when he was facing Amr bin Abdud, he offered him, "Come to Islam, come to Allah." And when he was refused, that's when the battle occurred. He gave the opportunity to Amr bin Abdud to come into the fold of Islam. So that is the kind of warrior Ali ibn Abi Talib was. Not a wild beast, but a judgmental, a composed, purposeful, principled warrior when he entered the battlefield. And he knew why he was there, and he was there only and only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We come to another place of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and that is the protection of the treasury of the people, the mal of the people, the monies, the taxation, the revenues of the people. His brother, Shakil ibn Abi Talib, once desired the audience of Imam Ali while Imam Ali alayhi salam was the caliph. He had already become the khalifa, he was the leader of the Muslimin. This happened in Kufa. Now who is Shakil ibn Abi Talib? Aqil ibn Abi Talib was the person who was selected by Imam Ali alayhi salam to go and find him a wife to bear a son who was going to be a huge impact, a huge help in Karbala for Imam Hussein. The mother of Abul Fadl was selected and was chosen, or was suggested at least, by Aqil ibn Abi Talib. That's Aqil ibn Abi Talib. So he sought the audience of Imam Ali alayhi salam in Kufa, and he came to him, and as he was sitting down, Imam Ali alayhi salam was working. He had a candle on, and he was doing whatever he was doing, writing some, was doing paperwork, book, and he was working for the state. When Aqil ibn Abi Talib came and he says, Ya Ali, I need to speak with you. What does Imam Ali alayhi salam say to him? He says, Ya Aqil, are you here for matters of the government, or are you here to talk to me about something that is personal in nature? So Aqil said, no, it's nothing to do with the government, it's personal. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, again, I want you to understand Imam Ali alayhi salam and the cleanliness and principle, of Imam Ali alayhi salam. The candle or the lamp, whatever it was, that was burning at the time while he was doing the official work of the government, Imam Ali alayhi salam extinguished it. And from the drawer, he took out a personal candle or lamp or whatever it was, and he lit it. Says this, so Aqil, I said, what are you doing, Mawla? He says, if it is personal, then I am not going to use anything that belongs to the people and the government to use it for personal gain or for personal purposes. If you were here on matters of the state, then we would use this candle. But if you are on a personal matter, I have to extinguish this, and I have to turn on my own personal lamp for this purpose. This was how careful Imam Ali alayhi salam was in conducting his affairs of the state. Now I can go on. I can go on about the fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and there's so many things. Even with my limited knowledge, we can go for another, couple of hours. But sufficient to say that these were just a few nitbits. This is the tip of the iceberg in talking about the fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salam. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to sell you Imam Ali, because he doesn't need me or anybody to earn respect from anybody. His own personality, what he has done. Even the non-Muslims today have a respect for Imam Ali, and I'll get to that point in just a minute. But I just want to say something, that to talk about the fadail of Imam Ali, while it is important, because the dhikr of Ali is also worship, we need to go into to more of a depth to try and understand the Imam, and hopefully in the few minutes that I have, I'll try and shed some light in this. When I go to a store, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And for example, like in the cold weather that we have today, and I say I want to buy a portable heater for my room because it's so cold, I need a portable heater. And the salesman, he comes over there and he says, oh yeah, this is a really good product. So why is this a good product? Well, it has 3 speeds on it. It is small. It will fit inside the room really nicely. It's got a 2-year warranty on it, and so on and so forth. It doesn't consume as much electricity. It's very economical. And he goes and he gives me all the fadail of that heater, Then I say, Baba, does it give heat? Okay, you didn't mention a single word about whether it can heat up the room or not. You're telling me everything else except whether it can heat up the room or not. And my dear brothers and sisters, sometimes I feel that a lot of us, we get engaged into the fadail of Amirul Mu'mineen, okay, and we forget to take that information from Imam Ali alayhi salam that we can digest within ourselves and cause it to improve our lives. We miss on that, and that is why, a lot of times we need to focus on that. Now, I would honestly, even like I said, with my limited knowledge, need a lot of time to go through this, but there is a good understanding of the philosophy, the politics, the thought process the economic understanding, the socio-economic understanding of Ali ibn Abi Talib, that is very much full in display in a letter that he wrote to Malik Ashtar when he sent Malik Ashtar to be the governor of Egypt. This is during the time of his Khilafah. And I urge you, my dear brothers and sisters, all of you, that letter has been translated in English, in Farsi, in Urdu, in whatever language you want. It's been translated. It's a long letter. Okay? Any lover, any person who claims to be Shi'ani Ali who has not read that letter is not doing justice to the understanding of Imam Ali alayhi salam. All of you need to go and read this letter. In fact, in school, my dear brothers and sisters, my youngsters, whenever you are asked to write a paper on politics and how a government should be run, bring this letter into light, because you know why? In the United Nations, this letter has been framed from Ali, mentioning Ali ibn Abi Talib, and some, I forget, I think it was Kofi Annan, or maybe before him. They went to some of the Muslim leaders and said, look at this letter. Why don't you run your governments according to what is inside this letter? This is one of you people, one of your caliphs who has written this letter. You know, I can't go into the entire letter because by the time I get through, it'll be Fajr, or if not more. But I just want you to, just a few of the things that Imam Ali alayhi salam says in this letter to Malik al-Ashtar. Malik al-Ashtar was to Imam Ali. Imam Ali alayhi salam describes Malik Ashtar. Imam Ali alayhi salam says that Malik Ashtar was to me like I was to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So he says, I'm giving you this letter, or I'm giving you this letter, you know, it has the contents, Ya Malik, as to how, when you reach Egypt, how you are going to govern the people of Egypt. Again, I cannot get through the whole, but I'll just give you just highlight some of the things. One of the things that he says to Malik al-Ashtar, that, you know, Egypt in those days was not all Muslims. There were non-Muslims there. The Coptic Christians were there. They are there even today. They are there even today. So Imam Ali alayhi salam said, remember, O Malik, that the people I are either your brother in religion or they are equal to you in humanity. So the non-Muslims who live in those countries, treat them well, treat them like your equals. Don't disregard them. Don't be unjust with them. First, right at the beginning of this letter, Imam Ali alayhi salam writes this to Malik Ashtar. Then he goes further. I mean, I'm skipping a lot of it. He talks about a particular group of people. You know, in any government or in any society, you always have the few elites who think a lot of themselves. They are wealthy, they are powerful, you know, they are the ones who a lot of people respect, you know, and they feel that they can get away with anything. I mean, even go and look at the government here in the United States or anywhere in the world. Always the few elitists at the top, okay, they get away with everything. The law doesn't even get to them. Imam Ali alayhi salam says to Malik al-Ashtar, Ya Malik, the privileged will make you sidetrack justice. Because of these people, okay, your ability to do justice to the people, the masses there, is going to get sidetracked. Look at the thinking of Imam Ali alayhi salam. You know, and you will tend to become unjust with the people, and these people who will sidetrack you, they will never appreciate anything that you do for them. They will always come and ask for more. They will always come and ask for more. But he says, remember, Malik, that if you stand your ground, that the satisfaction of the masses, when you really apply yourself, will drown out the noise that the few people are going to make in your government. Stay on your ground and keep the masses happy. These elitists, their voices and their influence will get drowned out. So that was one of the things that he was told. He says, Ya Malik, when you decide to select a judge a chief justice for Egypt. Make your selection, number one, based upon someone who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the primary thing that you have to do. Secondly, his faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his conviction should be of such nature that he cannot be intimidated by people. That powerful people can go in and influence this guy. This guy is able to stand, his ground on there. Once this person finds the right path, he finds the right way to go about the justice, nothing can dissuade him from it. He doesn't change his mind. Make sure that he's a person that listens to the testimony of everybody. He listens to the evidence from everyone, whoever they are. Sometimes when evidence is getting ready to be prepared, sometimes you have a situation where because of the position in the society, some evidence are sort of shut away. Imam Ali is telling Malik, make sure you listen to everyone. Make sure none of the witnesses are intimidated by anybody, so they are free to come and speak with the judge. Make sure that this is a kind of person when people go and do flatteries, oh, you are such a great judge, you are such a great guy, that doesn't get to his head. Make sure that that's the kind of person you choose as a judge, who doesn't become arrogant because of what people are saying to him, what people are praising him. He doesn't get influenced by them. And then what does Imam Ali say to him? Say, Ya Malik, once you select this person, make sure that you pay him handsomely. Give him a lot of money. Why? Because he cannot fall under the influence of the corruption from other people. When you underpay somebody, you make them vulnerable to other people coming and influencing their judgment by money. So, Imam Ali says, Malik, make sure you intervene there. Make sure you pay them handsomely, and you raise their level and their status in societies to such a degree that nobody will do any scandalous act against this person. Raise him up. But first, make sure you pick the right person. And after you do that, bring this. This is how you bring justice to to the people there. When it comes to taxes, we just got to the end of the year, and everybody's getting their W-2s, and now we're thinking about filing. And I am 100% sure that nobody here is happy to pay taxes. Nobody is happy to pay, If you are happy to pay taxes, may Allah forgive you, okay? What about taxes? Were there taxes in the government of Imam Ali alayhi salam? Of course there were. But what does Imam Ali alayhi salam tell Malik when he governs Egypt regarding taxes? He says, do not give importance, I'm paraphrasing. He says, do not give importance to the revenue that is being generated by the taxes that you're earning. Give more attention to the fertility of the land. If the land is affected, cultivation is a problem, there is a drought, there is a problem with the people's ability to survive and live and earn a living, pay attention to that before you pay attention to the revenue of taxes. He says, if, please recite the salawat. He says, if there is a drought, there is a flood, there is some kind of a natural calamity that happens, okay, and by that, the land and the ability for the people, the agriculture, and all of that becomes affected by them. He tells Malik, reduce your taxes. Allow the people, okay, to revitalize their land, their agriculture. Let them bring that back to life. It says, in the end, you will receive manifold of this revenue because people will understand that you care about them. So this is the rule that Imam Ali alayhi salam gave to Malik regarding, the taxes. Regarding business, he told Malik, just pay attention to the traders. Make it easy for them to trade. But he says, be careful of one thing, okay, that, look out for the people who are doing fraud. Look out for the people who are hoarding products and creating artificial inflation in the prices of things. Make sure that the way trade occurs in your land, and I'm summarizing it, should be one in which there is no loss to the buyer and there is no loss to the seller. make it so that everybody wins in this kind of an environment. And finally, he also says, and I think I'll end with this, he says to Malik Ashtar, he says that whatever resources there are in any of the properties in Egypt or in the land that you are governing, okay, make sure that that property that does not fall into the hands of individuals, so that they have a complete monopoly over this property. And he mentions that these are kind of properties that have sources of water, that have sources of natural resources for the people. Says nobody should be able to have power over the water and over the natural resources. That should be something that should be the right of the people, and no individual should be able to control, these kinds of things. Whenever you make treaties with anybody, make sure the language is clear, there is no ambiguity, that everything is clear. And there are many, many things that we can talk about. From these few examples, my dear brothers and sisters, you can see that, the thought process of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He understands the human nature. He understands psychology. He understands human behavior in general, in times of difficulty and in times of ease. He knows how people will react. And he is asking Malik to create a government that would be preemptive for all of these factors, so that it doesn't end up becoming a problem for Malik al-Ashtar, for Malik al-Ashtar when he is the governor. And he said to Malik that despite your position that I'm giving you, don't you ever feel like you are the Lord over your people. Remember that I am above you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above all of us. And you are always going to be accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is basically the premise, of every kind of situation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So my dear brothers and sisters, Imam Ali alayhi salam is not a role model for the battlefield only. He's not a role model only for the sake of us learning how to worship Allah. There are sayings of Imam Ali that we can quote about what is the nature of a person who worships Allah. He's not only limited, to the governance, like I mentioned. He is a whole package, a complete package. It isn't surprising, my dear brothers and sisters, that all of the scholars of Islam, when they talk about the hadith of Fadail of Amirul Mu'mineen, the number of hadiths that talks about the Fadail of Amirul Mu'mineen exceeds any of the companions. This is acknowledged by everyone. From all the companions, the number of times Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has made fadil, has spoken in honor of Ali, in praise of Ali, exceeds any of the companions, that were there during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It shouldn't surprise us, and there are reasons for it. There are reasons why we consider him an imam and a role model, for all, because he sticks to the Quran, he sticks to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of the things that I mentioned to him. I'll end with this last hadith when Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, used to teach me like a bird, a mother bird feeding its chick, little by little, from its beak to the beak of its child. This is how Rasulullah used to teach me knowledge. This is who I have learned from. And through his knowledge and what he has taught me, I am implementing, whatever I have understood from Rasulullah in today's world. So, all the Imams, followed these roles, followed these principles. And it should not surprise us that they had enemies. Talk about the Banu Umayyah, talk about the Banu Abbas, to the time until the situation was created that our 12th Imam had to go into occultation. And as we await him, my dear brothers and sisters, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he hastens the reappearance of our 12th Imam and give us the tawfiq, inshallah, to be amongst his companions and his aides with ikhlas and following the role model and the principles that we have been taught by Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Let us raise our hands and pray إلهي بحق فاطمة وأبيها وباليها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها أدني ما أحاط به علمك، وبحق 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، وبحق أم البنين وأبو الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين، وبحق سيدة زينب وسيدة كلثوم وسيدة رقية، وبحق أنبيائك وأوليائك وشهدائك وأوصيائك، وبحق أسمائك الحسنى. يا الله 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 يا Allah. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have, shower us with the blessings of auspicious occasion of the birth anniversary of Imam Ali alayhi salam. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, to guide us, and to keep us steadfast in the following of the Ahl Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Brothers and sisters, there is a request. There are some couple of people who are mothers of family members here who are ill, and we recite Amma Yujib to pray for their quick and complete recovery, inshallah. Please join me in reciting that. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mustarra iza da'a wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma yujibul mustarra iza da'a wa yakshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. الفاتحة شفاء المرضى. بسم الله.